Hey folks, welcome back for more inZOI news, and I have bad news and I have good news, and I'm sure you've already heard. Videos have dropped, people have been named, people are being held to the fire. No one's being held to the fire. So before we get started, and I know I'm just rambling at this point, as you know, I'm terrible with intros, but before I get started, I do want to wish you well. This week is something special. I'll just tell you from my own life, okay? This has been a very trying and tough week for me, and I am still trying to get my head around it. There are days where I clock into work and I just have this glazed, vacant expression on my face. I'm just trying to keep it together, and it's just hard. And I want to just express this to you, whoever's listening out there, who sees video games as not just a hobby, but a way of like just releasing for a cathartic expression, just to look forward to something. And if inZOI is that thing for you to look forward to, you know, and it being what it is, I'm gonna hold on to the news. No, I wanted to say, I hope you're doing well. And and if you are doing well, I'm happy for you. You deserve it. And I'm glad for you. If you are struggling or dealing with some things that are challenging, I just want you to know that you deserve so much goodness, and I hope that you get that in any form that you can get it. This is very much a therapeutic video for me than it is about the news. So if you've literally skipped this intro part, I hate you. No, I'm kidding. inZOI news. That's what we're here for. That's why you have me. It's why I made this channel. That's not true. Okay, so first and foremost, bad news, good news. Bad news, the game has been delayed. inZOI has been delayed. I know you've probably seen a million videos about it already, but I'm just here to echo the news. It has definitely been delayed. Good news, we have a date. It's March 28th, 2057. No, it's 2025, but it feels like it could be for that long of a time. They've pushed back inZOI. I'm just going to use this time that I have with you, with all of you, whoever you may be, to sort of vent, because it's my channel. I made the video, and you're still here. And there's a car driving down the... I don't know how well, when I edit the audio, it drowns out vehicle noise in the background, but if you ever feel like you're on a freeway or you're on the road while listening to one of these half-baked videos, it's not you, it's me. Two things. I am happy that they are taking their time, and secondly, I'm a little bit disappointed. But before I go on and talk about how I feel about the general situation, I do want to read some words from Kjun. Words from Kjun. I just want to read some of his words to really talk about in explaining why the date has been pushed back. First, I want to express my sincerest gratitude to all our fans. Your immense love and unwavering support mean everything to us. I was especially touched by the wonderful reception we received at Gamescom. Seeing everyone create such unique Zois during our inZOI character studio demo period was truly inspiring. Initially, we were uncertain about introducing Canvas to the world, not knowing how many people would actually participate. However, the turnout was amazing, and with an incredible amount of uploads. Seeing such engagement brought us so much happiness, and it was inspiring to see how deeply people connected with their Zois, or inZOI. Your response and feedback made us realize the responsibility we have to provide players with the most complete experience possible. I'm gonna stop you right there. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so that definitely deserves a little bit of a breakdown. I'll save that for after I'm done reading the statement here. This message is about that realization. After reviewing your feedback from inZOI Character Studio and analyzing a wealth of data from our various playtests, we have made our decision to release inZOI in early access on March 28th, 2025. We apologize that we could not bring you the game sooner, but this decision reflects our commitment to giving inZOI the best possible start. It is said that among primates, raising a human child to adulthood takes the longest time because humans must prepare to endure and adapt to their ever-changing surroundings. The extra love and care that is required to properly nurture a child is how I see our journey with inZOI, a game that will be nurturing together from its early access birth. This change in our release date represents our dedication to giving inZOI a stronger foundation so we can embark on this journey together in the best possible way, or the best way possible. Until the release date, we'll continue to improve areas that need attention, striving to create a game that truly captures the essence of life simulation. Our goal is to deliver an experience fans can enjoy for years to come, and we'll keep you updated on our development progress. And we hope you'll continue to join us on this journey toward inZOI's early access and beyond. Thank you. With love, Kjun. Okay, so there's a lot to process there, but I just want to chime in on a couple of things. I don't want to make this video overly long and excessive on my ramblings because, truth be told, no one wants that. You don't want that, I don't want that, and I don't know how long this Earl Grey tea will take before it gets cold because I just don't trust this mug. Do you do that? Do you just have mugs you just don't trust? Yeah, I'm still on Earl Grey tea and Halls, by the by. Whatever I have going on in my mental health and my physical health has not waned. If anything, is exacerbated. At any rate, I feel bummed out. I feel sad. I feel like we all need virtual hugs. No. Okay, it's not that deep. Not that deep. It's just a game. It's just a game. You're just a game. Quit messing around. No. Okay, I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed for several reasons, and before I start looking back at some of the statements that was made from Kjun here, I do want to say I'm very happy. I'm very, very, very happy that they're willing to take their time with inZOI to make the best possible game they see in their vision to do the best that it can in early access. Like, I get that. I'm with that. I'm for that. I'm about that. Okay? Like, I get it. I get it. I am with you on it. My disappointment comes from the fact that it took them this long to say it, and without any sort of meaningful gameplay or new gameplay that we can see. And it kind of makes me question just how far we are in terms of the build, the build the playtesters played or the content creators played. They're playtesters, but they're more content creators. What build did they play versus the build that was getting readied up for early access? And to not trust that enough for it to launch within this year. And so my biggest disappointment comes from, I suppose, not being able to stick to your guns and saying that it was going to be this year. Because up until that article, I made that video a week ago talking about how there was an article out saying, and it was from Kjun, in all respect to him, that he said, it's coming out this year, trust it, believe it, mark your calendars, we don't know the date yet, but it's coming, ladies and gents, and you may not be ready for it when it hits. No, but there was a lot of hype, a lot of buildup that it would be sometime this year. And what is funny is that when you read some of the articles or the news, if you just sort of gauge the general feeling with this new and growing community, it feels like that was not as sincere. It feels like a lot of people were quite cynical about a launch coming this year. And while there were a lot of what's the release dates questions dropping on Reddit and Discord and wherever you are subscribed to, there was very much this sense of they've stopped showing us new stuff, so are you sure? Are you absolutely sure you're releasing this year? And then they had that article come out about a month ago and it was we're in it for the long haul, baby. And then it's oh, you know what? Actually not ready. And look, all power to Kjun and his development team for having the humility to see through a lot of different critiques and data that they've gathered and having the humility to be we're not ready. And we're not going to have inZOI drop on early access because of that. Okay, so here is another thing that I wanted to talk about, and it relates to the statement much more closely. It's here in paragraph 2. Your response and feedback made us realize the responsibility we have to provide for players with the most complete experience possible. I hate that for a lot of reasons, and I don't mean hate I hate Kjun or anything. Look, I will say this about Kjun and team and inZOI specifically. Their sort of philosophical, holistic approach to a lot of development and how they're treating their new community, how they're treating their game, and how the perspective in which they are looking at their development I like it because for me it feels very human, as AI human can feel. No, I'm kidding.
What is he? A machine. Is he? Are you sure? Yes. You see, he's met 2 of your 3 criteria for sentience, so what if he meets the 3rd? Consciousness in even the smallest degree. What is he then? I don't know. Do you? Do you? Do you?
It feels very human for a robot, because we all know robots made the entire game. No, I'm kidding. I know that's like a thing, like people have sort of entered into the zeitgeist that inZOI has been completely created by AI. That's just all speculation and stuff like that, and I just feel like that joke needed some explaining. Anyways, I love the approach that they're taking. They're very much taking this as a personal endeavor and a journey and an experience that they're taking us on along with the ride with, and I like how human a lot of this feels. You don't get that a lot from gaming companies nowadays. A lot of it is just publisher or PR speak or investor talk. You don't see this kind of communication that often anymore, and you see it more akin to like indie devs, and that's how indie devs normally talk to their communities and the way Kjun and their team talk to us. So this isn't, when I say hate, I don't mean that I hate them. I just hate this part of the sentence in the sense that I think they are afraid of their community. I don't think they trust you. I don't think they trust me. I don't think they trust anybody. No, I don't think they trust that we understand what early access is. Because early access, it is what it sounds like. And I know that the word or the term early access has been thrown around a lot, and a lot of AAA companies use early access now because that's like the fad. But in the spirit of the rule of early access, it is a game so incomplete as to gauge your feedback. You are paying to provide feedback for a game that you are, as the consumer, taking a chance on. Basically betting money in upfront to play a game that you hope becomes finished. To say that your response and feedback made us realize the responsibility you have to provide players the most complete experience. Is my phone going off? No, that's a motorcycle. Oh my god. Why do I live here? Anyways, to provide the most complete experience possible, I don't want the most complete experience possible. It's early access. I know what I'm paying for. I know what I'm signing up for. My thing is what I think this word or this statement is saying is that they don't trust their consumers or fans or people, generally speaking, to make that kind of sound judgment. Maybe they think if we just provide them an early access inZOI, who is texting me? They probably think that should they provide what is said on the tin, early access inZOI, that sometimes people might not really understand that concept, and then they're just going to berate the game in such a way or see bugs in such a way as to condemn it, and it should never be finished. Like, maybe that's where they're coming from this. At the same time, I could just be, making, what is it? Something about a mold over an anthill? A mound over an anthill. I'm making something bigger than it's not, or that it is. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. You work here, right? Anyways, maybe it's just me amping up this statement, but I just have that feeling, like that gut feeling, that maybe they think that they don't know how we would react to an early build of inZOI, and that they don't trust that we're going to treat it in a responsible way, and that instead that we're going to see a buggy, bug-filled, ridden mess, unoptimized ridden mess, and we're just going to can it and trash it. And that's just, so I think some people would, like, let's be real, that there are people waiting in the wings to make sure that this game doesn't exist for whatever reason. I don't get that. Why crap on other people's hobbies? I don't get it. It's just a game. It's not that deep. Anyways, like, if that's the case, like, that sucks. Like, that's just, have confidence that your game will do well. In that sense, you don't need to provide the most complete experience. I said this in my last video. I'm very well aware that I might be playing inZOI for like 2 years and it's still being considered early access. And in fact, if you're still an early access game for 2 years, you're still doing pretty good for yourself. You should see games now. There are games that were at one point 10 years old in early access and just got released this year, at any rate. I mean, look it up. It's a thing. It's a thing. And inZOI shouldn't think that they're any kind of different. Like, it's normal. But if they're worried that some consumers might see that and be like, oh, we hate you now because it's just been in early access for so long of a time. There are games that are in early access that after a 6-month period or a year period are not even the same game as it launched in that early access. Like, a completely different game as they are now at like full launch, okay? Like, early access is such a malleable, versatile concept that you don't need to provide the most complete experience. In fact, I'd argue with the lack of having your game out there and getting that kind of real-time feedback can actually be, in a way, a hindrance. At the same time, too, I do want to preface, if they have a whole department just game testing the crap out of this thing, then that's fine too, because that is honestly the best way to go about it, is to game test it on your end to the best of your ability. People you pay to work to do the job of game testing, like, if they're doing that, and from their game testers, if they're the ones telling them this can't even come out early access, it's definitely not ready, then okay, I'll step back a little bit on my criticism here about being that disappointed. At the same time, my biggest gripe and where my disappointment really comes in is that the cars outside my window, my disappointment really comes from the fact that they amped this up for this year. And they made it sound like it was really, really here on the cusp of it. And then the statement saying that, seeing everyone create such unique Zois, and they found that inspiring, and that they didn't know how many people would actually participate, but they actually did participate, and the turnout was amazing, and they saw an incredible amount of uploads. And because of that, now they're feeling the pressure of pulling this one back. A part of me is like, have faith. Have some faith in your own gusto. But you know what? Look, at the end of the day, they have the humility to say, we're not ready. I just don't want them to flinch every time they see a negative response or criticism or something like that, and just be like, look, we need to provide them the complete game now. Like, if this is just a concept, treat it as that. Could you imagine? For me personally, I'm just going to share a personal story with you. I'm going to get really deep in the weeds. No, I'm not. I'm going to talk about, like, me playing The Sims 4. When I was a young boy, having 10 years ago, having bought The Sims 4, like, collector's edition, I don't even know what happened to that box. I wish I still had it. I think I threw it away out of spite. Back then, I bought, like, the CD so I could, with, like, the box art and stuff. I was so psyched and stoked, and I had friends still on Sims 3, and The Sims 3 at the time had so much content. Obviously, it was, like, at that time, they still suffered a lot of optimization issues, but it was still a complete and fun game. There was a lot of things to do in The Sims 3. The aesthetic, was a bit uncanny valley for some people, but for me, The Sims 4 really looked like, and again, I was saying uncanny valley to make fun of people who use uncanny valley as a criticism to inZOI. Again, I'm explaining the joke, and I need to treat you better, okay? I should just assume that you know that I am joking. But sometimes when I put stuff into the internet, I have like this anxiety that no one knows that I am joking, and so I feel like the need to explain the joke. I bought Sims 4 Collector's Edition, and I was so stoked. No one else was stoked, but I was stoked. I was happy. I wanted to play it. I installed the game. I was really, really excited, and when I opened up the game, I just had like this sinking feeling that this game wasn't ready. Now, at this time, there were early access titles. Like, one of my biggest games that I was playing at the time that was an early access title was a game called RimWorld, and no, it's not what you're thinking. It's still a great game. RimWorld was an early access for forever. So at the time, I was very well aware of early access titles, I guess what I'm trying to say. So as I was playing The Sims 4, I saw the stupid map and how black and white it was, and how much things and features were lacking from the Sims 4 base game that was in Sims 3 base, that was in Sims 2 base game. And like, burglars weren't even there, challenge wasn't even there. There were so many things. And you can, in a lot of times, your Sims just look samey from character to character when you're creating them in the studio. I don't know how to explain it. It was very much a come to Jesus moment for me. No, I'm kidding. It was very much when I was in like real time. I was like, oh my God, The Sims 4 is early access. Like, this game isn't done. Why did I buy this game? Why did people in good conscience sell me a physical copy of this game? This game isn't done. Why? Who would do such a terrible thing? And so, what I am saying, in a long-about way, is that if The Sims 4 had pitched to me when I was a young lad 10 years ago, not knowing left from right, that Sims 4 was an early access and they didn't sell me the physical copy, and they were just like, the only way to buy it is on a third-party propriety like this, like Steam or something, then I would have, then my criticism and like disenchantment and disillusionment coming from The Sims 4 would not be as rampant and deep and as scarring as it has affected me as a gamer into adulthood. I haven't been this disappointed. The Sims 4, that is, in a game since like the Mass Effect 3 ending. Like, those two things live in my memory as a gamer, is the Mass Effect 3 ending and The Sims 4. Formative games in my life, and both of those things did those things to me, and they can never take it back. No, but what I'm getting at is, I would have a better perception of it. So if inZOI releasing in early access, I have a better perception of you. You know, it's just okay. It's okay to not have a finished game, is my point. Because you're admitting that you're not done, but you'd like to share it and see if this game has got legs. And truth be told, I do feel like it does. But in the words of this famous inZOI article that is on Sports Illustrated, could you believe this? So before I started the video, I was like scanning general news because I was like, do people have articles relating to this topic that's new information, not just what we've seen from Kjun's statement? Surprisingly, absolutely not. You wouldn't believe how dead gaming journalism is nowadays. It's simply copy and paste each other's articles, or copy the article from Kjun's statement, or yeah, just copy Kjun's statement, post it, copy and paste that into your article, and write like 2 blurbs you could have easily concocted from ChatGPT. Like, that's gaming journalism nowadays. It sucks. But at any rate, I saw this like really strange, Sports Illustrated has an article about inZOI, and I'm like, stay in your lane. Why are you crafting sim like inZOI has been delayed to March 2025? How does this affect LeBron James' legacy? Okay. I'm just like, what is sports? No, obviously Sports Illustrated has a video game section, a video game department, I guess, of Sports Illustrated. Why? Absolutely. Well, you know what? I guess that makes sense. Madden, NBA Live, FIFA, now EAFC. But here's the real question. Brett Favre on the Packers, how is he different than Brett Favre from the Jets, and then Brett Favre on the Vikings? But then how does Brett Favre later in his life, knowing that he is a full-blown classist racist, affect inZOI's early release date? Let's read this Sports Illustrated article. I was just joking. Obviously, I just wanted to share that gaffe with you. What a weird thing to see on the internet. Sports Illustrated, eh? I mean, it makes sense when you think about it. But it took me for a bit of whiplash. Anyways, I want to thank you all so much for watching. I do appreciate it, and I appreciate you. And this time around, I also want to say I hit 600 subs because of you. I made a post on that a couple of days ago, but I do want to say it here in this video. Thank you so much. I started this journey like 4 years ago, and it's been very challenging to stay on top of things. And I know I'm not like the best like content creator out there who can make quick videos and talk about your favorite things, or even play the games that you want to see me play. I know that, and I know that sometimes my videos are just really bad quality. So to know that despite all of that, and despite that many years of just putting out videos and hoping it reaches someone out there, to know that at least 600 of you give a damn is just, I'm just thankful, and yeah, thank you a lot. Anyways, I don't want to get emotional, just, it's been a tough week, and I hope that you're doing well too. Just be well, and I know that it's okay. It's okay if you feel sad. I feel sad, and sometimes I don't know why. inZOI, March 28th. Mark it on your calendars. Until the next one. I appreciate you watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.